Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the Canadian Taxpayers Federation. Did you know that the new year brings new tax changes to those of us across Canada? Here in British Columbia, there are two major changes coming January 1st and later on in the year. First, the good news. Starting January 1st, the MSP, the Medical Services Premium, that mandatory healthcare tax here in BC, is being cut by 50%. So you're going to be saving half your MSP bill starting on January 1st. The CTF has long campaigned that this is an unfair, inefficient tax that hurts people more than it actually helps. So we're very happy to see that this unfair tax is being cut in half as of New Year's Day 2018. We're also happy to hear that the provincial government has committed to getting rid of it altogether within their first mandate. So kudos for that. Very happy to hear that the average two-adult home here in BC will be saving about $900 every year. By the time it's gone altogether, that's $1,800 saved per year on average. So some good news to start off the new year. But here comes the bad news, and it's not fooling anybody. As of April 1st, the BC carbon tax is going up to $35 per ton, keeping us at the highest carbon tax level in all of Canada. What does that mean for the average person? It just means more money out of your wallet. Every time you fill up your average size car, say something like a Toyota Corolla, it's going to cost you about $5 extra at the pump every single time you fill up, and that's just for the carbon tax. That doesn't include other fees, and that obviously has nothing to do with the actual cost of the gasoline that you're putting into your vehicle. If you drive a pickup truck or an SUV, it's about $10 per fill up just for the BC carbon tax. Keep in mind that something like natural gas, your Fortis BC bill, also includes carbon tax, and if you use home heating oil, that's an extra carbon tax. Oh, by the way, all that stuff that we buy at the grocery store and other stores, that all needs to be trucked and manufactured. That all uses fuel, and that, of course, is subject also to the carbon tax. The other catch here in BC is that up until now, the carbon tax in BC was called revenue neutral. Now, we know that it hasn't actually been revenue neutral for many years and that it was simply an accounting exercise, but now the BC government has dropped that term altogether. They're calling the carbon tax a tool, and that means because it's no longer even technically supposed to be called revenue neutral, that we no longer get to find out what they're spending the money on. You see, up until now, within budget documents, they needed to account for where the carbon tax was technically sort of kind of going. That means that they would list it under the carbon tax in a framework on the budget document. They would list how much they brought in under the carbon tax in BC, and then they would put a bunch of expenditures stuffed underneath the carbon tax intake to make it balance out to zero. But then at least we could see where the numbers were going, sort of. Now, we'll have no idea. They've removed the rule that stipulates that they need to tell us where the carbon taxes are going. Keep in mind, considering how much fuel is used here in BC, gasoline and diesel, the BC government will be taking in about $500 million in 1 year just for the carbon tax. The catch is, we don't get to know what it's being spent on anymore. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the CTF.